Alright, we're live on Twitch. Can we get the trifecta going? I think we're live on the YouTubes as well. Here we go, we're live. What's up, everybody? I hope you're all having a good day. In this live stream, we're going to be researching the fight between Dan Hooker and Nasrat Haqparast. So, the reason why I haven't researched this fight before now was because obviously it was very unlikely that this fight was going to take place. Both guys were struggling to get visas, and they only arrived in Las Vegas yesterday, which is obviously very, very late. I think Hooker arrived in like the afternoon. I think Haqparast arrived in the evening, which meant that they had less than 24 hours to cut weight for this fight, which is an absolute nightmare. Both guys have now weighed in. Both guys have made weight, which means we can now research this one. Haven't watched the weigh-ins yet because I thought it would kind of be better if we did it on stream. But from what I hear, both guys look really good as well. So pretty cool that this fight is going to go ahead. I kind of wish they would have just rescheduled it for next week, where both guys weren't going to be going through, you know, absolute hell in the immediate run up to the matchup. But you know, it is what it is. The fight's going to take place tomorrow night now, and we've got to get on with it and see how these two guys match up. So let's start off by taking a look at the odds. We have got Dan Hooker currently the favourite at average odds of around, I would say 1.67, which is minus 149 for an implied probability of 60%. And if we take a look at the odds on Haqparast, he's currently around about an average at 2.25, which is plus 125 for an implied probability of 44%. So the odds have been improving on Hooker since the beginning of the week. You can see they've been slowly improving, which is pretty interesting because I do lean towards Hooker here, and I do think this could be a tough stylistic matchup at Haqparast. We'll take a look obviously when we get into the footage. If you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, I always, after doing one of these live streams, get like comments saying where are the timestamps. This is a live research session where we're going to be studying footage on both these fighters to try and determine who's got the better chance of winning. So there won't be any timestamps. This is a live stream. It's not like a pre-recorded, planned out video. Okay, so let's get into it then. Obviously the big issue with this fight is that both guys have had absolute hell in the lead up to this matchup. So Dan Hooker has been struggling to get his visa to travel from New Zealand to Las Vegas because of COVID restrictions, and they did get it sorted out, but he only arrived in Las Vegas last night. So Hooker's had to cut weight in less than 24 hours, which is hell because he's a big lightweight, 6 foot tall with a 75.5-inch reach. It's probably a very big weight cut for Hooker. You know, it's going to be impossible to cut weight on the plane. He would have had to have jumped off the plane, cut weight in Vegas, you know, very late yesterday. And this is just not what you need going into a fight. You know, if you've ever flown long distance before, you'll know that it takes a while to get over that flight. You know, the second-hand air in the plane, you know, the cramped conditions. It's just not ideal. A couple of years ago, I flew to Singapore and back, which was a really long flight. And, you know, it wiped me out for like 3-4 days. So the fact that Hooker is doing a long flight like this, then cutting weight, and then, you know, fighting within, you know, 48 hours of landing in Vegas, kind of insane to me. And I would expect that to have, you know, be logically speaking quite a significant negative impact on Hooker's ability to perform. But Haqparast has obviously got his own issues as well. Haqparast has been quite unlucky actually. So he was out in California doing his training camp for this fight against Hooker, and then his mother died. So he had a working visa already in place where he was going to train in California, and then obviously travelled to Vegas for the fight. But his mother died a few weeks ago, so then he travelled back to Germany for the funeral, which meant that that working visa was invalid because he left the United States, and he then had to get a new working visa to re-enter the United States and compete. So really unlucky for Haqparast, you know, that his working visa expired like that. Obviously absolutely horrendous that his mother's died as well. Who knows what he must be going through, you know, in the lead up to this fight. And you know, it's a long flight from Germany as well, right? What, 8-10 hours from Germany to Vegas. You know, he landed in Vegas on Thursday night, and it's brutal, man. I think he just posted a picture on, I'm not sure if it was Instagram or Twitter. See if it's on Twitter. He just posted this. Championship weight tomorrow. I'm going to show my level, inshallah. And he looks just as good as he always looks. Looks absolutely fine on the scales there. And look, I mean, for this guy to go through this, for this guy to do this after the death of his mother, just what an absolute beast. But again, I do think this is going to have a detrimental impact on Haqparast's ability to perform to his full potential. So, you know, I guess in many ways the disadvantage is present for both guys, so it kind of balances out and maybe negates a little bit of the risk, but certainly not ideal circumstances that these guys are fighting under this week. Hey, what's up, Hasbullah? What's up, JB? Good to see you, dude. What's up, Matern? Alright, boys, so let's get into some footage then. What's up, Patrick? He might be, you know, he might be a great bet. He might be a great bet, dude. We'll take a look at it now. See what we've got. I do feel like people might be maybe writing Hooker off, you know, as a result of a flash knockout loss to Chandler, which really speaking doesn't tell us a lot. But we'll take a look into it now, man. So I haven't watched I've watched the weigh-ins for a few fighters because it's such a long video file. It's like 3 hours long. I've kind of scrubbed through it. But I actually purposely didn't look at Dan Hooker and Haqparast. I thought it'd be better if we do it on stream. And I'm streaming this on YouTube, and the YouTube copyright algorithm is crazy aggressive. The last time I had the audacity to look at a fucking weigh-in on a YouTube stream, my channel got suspended from live streaming for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. So I'm just going to have a little look at them myself in my other monitor, and I'll give you guys a link to take a look yourself. Nick Diaz looks very good, man. I might have fucked up this week with Diaz Lawler. When I researched the fight between Lawler and Diaz last week, I leaned Diaz and I felt pretty good about it. And then with all the crazy shit he said in the Brett Okamoto interview with the change in weight class, I flipped my pick from Diaz to Lawler, and I'm now regretting that pretty badly, because in the press conference, UFC 266 press conference yesterday, Diaz had like a mischievous little twinkle in his eye, and when asked about that Brett Okamoto interview, he basically said, "I didn't realise you guys were going to take where I said that seriously." I just feel like when it comes to Diaz, it's all a fugazi. Like, he's a giant troll, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he comes in this weekend Stockton slapping, talking shit, lighting Lawler up, and, you know, winning pretty comfortably. So I do definitely regret switching my pick. I wish I would have just stayed with Diaz now, but it is what it is. It is done, and I can't change it. It is what it is. But I do think Diaz has played games this week, and it's all a bit of a fugazi. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does very well against Lawler tomorrow. So I'm watching Nasrat Haqparast now. I'll timestamp this video for you guys so you can look at it yourself if you want to. So this is the timestamp video. Yeah, I could. It'll end up getting out of hand, Matern, right? We'll end up bloody tons of different bets on that fight. Every time I change my mind, like the hedge situation will get even more complicated. So I'll post a link to the weigh-ins that are time-stamped on YouTube, Twitch, and my website. So check that out, guys. I'm just taking a look at Haqparast now. In that picture on his Twitter, he looked absolutely phenomenal. Hey, what's up, Taz? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you, mate. That's a really good point from Ghoul as well. Ghoul's bringing up an amazing point there. Hooker's last 3 fights, I mean, the Felder fight and the Hooker fight were absolute wars, where he took tons of damage and then a big knockout at the hands of Chandler. So, well said, Ghoul. Well fucking said, mate. Very, very good point. So, Haqparast looking pretty good there. I will scrub through the footage now and take a look at Hooker. From what I can understand, Hooker looks pretty good as well. I think I've found him. Wow, Hooker looks amazing. I will say something a little bit nuts. I will say something a little bit crazy. I will timestamp this for you as well, guys. Hooker weighs in a couple minutes after Nasrat. So here's the link to check out Hooker. We'll pop it in Twitch, YouTube, and the YouTubes. Second link is for Hooker. There we go, guys. Hey, what's up? What's up, Jamie? Good to see you, dude. Nice one, man. Thanks a lot, dude. Right, let's take a look at Hooker. I will say something crazy. Despite all the challenges both these guys have been through in the run-up to this fight, they look better than ever, which is confusing. Didn't expect that. Both guys look better than ever at the weigh-ins. Both guys look better than ever, man. Both guys look better than ever. Hooker looks phenomenal. Maybe these guys were so determined to make weight and so determined to fight that, I mean, they just were more focused on the weight cut than ever before. They look brilliant to me. Very, very good. Alright, let's get into the footage. We've gone over the X factors. The only thing we haven't covered is the size difference. Hooker probably will have a bit of a reach here, I would imagine. So Hooker is 6 foot tall with a 75.5 inch reach, and Haqparast 5'10" with a 72 inch reach. So 3 inch reach advantage for Hooker, and we'll be interested to see at the stare downs how much taller Hooker is, because even though it doesn't look much, like Haqparast 5'10", Hooker 6 foot tall, sometimes when you see them kind of stood in front of one another, it tends to be the size tends to look a lot different. You know, with Hooker maybe being the bigger, more physically imposing man. We'll see. And you also can't trust these numbers. You know, so often these Tapology stats or these Tapology height and reach measurements are very wrong. So I wouldn't trust them. Anyway, let's get into some fight footage. So, where should we start here? Where shall we start? Let's start off by taking a look at Hooker's fight against Michael Chandler. We can blitz through that one pretty quickly. And the way this is going to work, if you haven't watched one of these before, is I give you guys the Fight Pass and ESPN Plus links. You sync the fight up at the same time as me. We watch them together, and then we kind of research this fight and break it down together. So here's the link to the Chandler fight. Chandler Hooker. So sync this one up for me, guys. Sync up the first second of round 1. Sync up the first second of round 1 for me, guys. Why have I got my calculator? Don't need that. Sync it up, guys. Sync it up. Let's get it going. Now, it's funny. I remember after this fight, a lot of people were saying that Hooker didn't look good in this matchup. That's not the conclusion I came to at all. I just think Hooker, started a little bit slow to kind of feel Chandler out and find his range. I think people were really unfair with their criticism of Hooker in this fight. I just think that, you know, Hooker's not going to want to go out there all guns blazing against someone with heavy hands like Chandler in round 1. I think Hooker was trying to fight smart here and, start slow, kind of pace himself a little bit and grow into the fight, because he started very fast against Poirier and burned himself out a little bit in like the second half of the second round, and in the third round he was quite flat. So I just think that Hooker was fighting smart, if I'm honest. I think people were quite harsh on him. But anyway, let's get this Chandler Hooker fight going. It starts in 1 minute 58. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get it going, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. You see Chandler coming out aggressively, taking control of the centre of the octagon, and Hooker's not interested in playing that game Chandler usually likes to play, where he baits you in the big exchanges. You can see Hooker just circling away from Chandler, and actually Hooker's doing the correct thing. All of Chandler's power's in his right hand, right? Chandler knocks Hooker out with his left hook in this fight, which is very unusual, because the big weapon you need to watch out for usually with Chandler is the right hook. So Hooker's doing the correct thing in circling away from the power right hand of Chandler, but unfortunately, Chandler kind of outwitted him and set him up for that power left hand. It's kind of tough. I remember when we researched this fight, we were saying that standing up Chandler's a little bit of a one-trick pony, where he just loads up and hopes to catch you with that right hand. But Chandler showed how smart he was with this fight, because he said he and Henry Hooft had been working on setting Hooker up for the left hook, and it's genius really, because you could see from the way Hooker's moving, with the way he's circling away from the right hand, he's very aware of the threat of the right hand, and because he's so focused on the right hand, he didn't consider the danger that Chandler may pose from that left hook. So genius game plan from Chandler, but I don't think Hooker looks bad here at all. I think Hooker's just starting slow, taking time to feel his range, weathering that early storm, and just not wanting to get sucked into any reckless exchanges. I don't know how anyone could say I don't know how anyone could say Hooker looked bad here. For me, he's just taking time to grow into the fight, which is very smart, because we know Chandler slows down a lot as fights go on. So there's no point in going to war with him in round 1 when he's at his most dangerous, when you can kind of wear him down a little bit, and then probably have a lot more success when he's a lot less dangerous into the second and third round. But a huge left hook there. We saw how fast Chandler can cover distance, which doesn't give Hooker any opportunities to recover there at all. So big win there for Chandler. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. Alright, let's check out another fight now, guys. So obviously we didn't learn too much from watching that. It ended pretty quickly. Hey, what's up, Monkey Business? Good to see you, dude. Hope you're okay. What's up, Spiz? What's up? Oh, boys, I gotta have a little rant. Spiz, I need a rant, bro. Spiz, literally, mate, I watched the video today, dude, and I was so triggered. Like, I was so triggered. I literally, mate, my head, like, I was so triggered. Like, when you hear people who talk like fucking Kevin Holland is some up-and-coming talented prospect in the middleweight division who's going to be a future champion, and we get fucking triggered. Mate, I watched the video today. I got triggered, dude, big time. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of Sports Card Invest. I'm a big fan of them, man. Oh, I better not play this. I'll get copyright flagged. Shit. Retreat. But anyway, dude, this fucking video, mate, I am triggered. I'm a big fan of Sports Card Invest, right? Watch this. Watch this. I'm a big fan of Sports Card Invest, and I really like the guy that runs the Sports Card Invest channel. Like, this guy, Jeff, he's such a nice guy. But the guy he had on this video with him is a fucking jackass. See this dude here in the black t-shirt? The guy is a muppet. There's no other word for it. Basically, you see the Jude Bellingham PSA 10 rookie card in the thumbnail. They were doing this thing in the video where, like, people in their community could ask them for their opinions on cards, and then they would kind of like give their opinions on whether they think these specific cards are like good investments. And someone asked, what do you think about investing in Jude Bellingham rookie cards? And because Jeff doesn't know anything about soccer, he asked this fucking jabroni what his opinions on Jude Bellingham was. Mate, honestly, if I am not a lifeguard, I stay my ass out the pool. If I'm not a lifeguard, I'm not going to go and apply for a fucking job in a fucking... If I can't swim, I'm not going to go apply for a job as a lifeguard. It was brutal to listen to, man. First of all, the guy said Jude Bellingham is a young player that's coming out of like the talent-producing factory of Borussia Dortmund. No, he didn't. He was signed from Birmingham City. He came up through Birmingham City's youth academy. Dortmund bought him from Birmingham City not that long ago. It wasn't fucking Dortmund's talent program that churned Bellingham out. It was Birmingham City, bro. Do your homework. The second thing that triggered me about this guy is like, oh, you know, I haven't been that impressed with him. You know, he doesn't have the star quality of someone like Haaland. Mate, are you stupid? This guy is 18 years old, tearing up the Bundesliga, box-to-box midfielder, 18 years old, at the highest level of German football, scoring goals, grabbing assists in every game. 18 years old, mate. 18 years old. And he plays for England, which is basically the biggest footballing nation in the world. Are you stupid or something? He's like, I'm not that high on Bellingham. He's just not a big star like Haaland. And, I think you should wait to buy his cards until he gets to the Premier League, and then his cards will go up a lot. I'm like, mate, why are you working for Sports Card Invest? Because the whole word invest means buy low, sell high. Why are you working for Sports Card Invest, giving bullshit, number one bullshit advice like this? It's crazy to me, because the whole goal of investing is buy low, sell high. Bellingham's cards, cheap as fucking chips right now. You literally say in the video, when Bellingham gets signed by a Premier League team, his card prices are going to go up a lot, so you could just buy him then. I'm like, bro, you buy him now. You buy them now. Why would you wait? Why would you wait until this guy who's 25 years old, tearing it up in the Premier League, doing the damn thing on the biggest stage in the world, in the World Cup? Why would you wait? The World Cup is next summer. Why would you wait? Why would you wait for him to go to the World Cup? Why would you wait for him to go to the Premier League? He's 18 years old. He's 18 years old. He's the best midfielder I have ever seen at 18 years old. Ever. Put some respect on his name. He's 18 years old. He's playing like Steven fucking Gerrard at 18 years old. What do you mean you're not that impressed with him? What is there not to be impressed by? What are you talking about? He's not a big star like Haaland. My friend, 18 years old. He's playing like Steven Gerrard at the highest level of German football. Are you mad? So I got triggered, dude. If you watch it, you want to smash your TV up. I'm not that impressed by Jude Bellingham. What the fuck are you talking about, mate? He is the greatest 18-year-old midfielder I have ever seen. If you're not impressed by Jude Bellingham, tell me tell me who looked better. Tell me which midfielder looked better at 18 years old. Wasn't fucking Zidane, wasn't fucking Iniesta, wasn't fucking Kaka, wasn't fucking Gerrard. Name the midfielder better than Bellingham at 18 years old. They don't exist. Which means if he's that good at 18, does he not have the potential to be the greatest midfielder of all time? And you're telling me you're not that impressed with him? He's not a big name like Haaland. Just wait until he gets to the Premier League, then buy his cards. Are you dumb? He's got GOAT potential. Jesus fucking Christ. It was painful to listen to. If you don't know something about a topic, don't put yourself in a position of authority and talk like you do. Do you know what I'm saying? It drives me fucking mad. Bellingham's a beast. Bellingham is an absolute beast. So yeah, I got triggered watching that video. Anyway, little rant over. Put some respect on his name. He's 18 years old. Give him some positivity, man. This guy is a beast. He's so good. And, he's having an amazing season in the Bundesliga. Did incredible in the Champions League last week. The World Cup's next year. He's playing for Dortmund again next week. I'm sure he'll do great again. If he can just avoid getting injured, what a career he's going to have. Absolutely unbelievable. Put some respect on his name. Talking about Jude Bellingham like he's Kevin Holland. The level of disrespect. Honestly, triggered by it. Triggered, boys. But enough of you talking about football. I know you're all here for the MMA. let's get back to the MMA. As much as I would love to talk about football, there's a great match later on tonight. West Brom are playing QPR, so I need to get this wrapped up as quick as possible to try and catch the second half of that. But anyway, let's get into watching another fight. So the fight I think we should kick things off with for Haqparast is the Rafa Garcia fight. So what I will do is drop this link for you guys into all the chats, and then we will get into it. Sync it up for me. Sync up the first second in round 1, and hopefully by the time we've done watching this 15-minute fight on Haqparast, we'll have built up quite a nice picture of him. Let's see what we've got. Let's go. Let's go. So Haqparast. So that's the UFC Fight Pass link. Let's find the ESPN Plus link. There we go. Alright. So sync up round 1 of this fight for me, boys. Let's go. Let's go. Sync it up. Sync up the first second, and let's watch this together. So from memory, I think Garcia stepped up and took this fight on like, was it like 2-3 days notice, and he didn't perform well at all, which isn't a good sign for Haqparast, because when we recently saw Rafa Garcia in his fight against Chris Grushmacher, if you're in my live betting group, you'll remember we bet Grushmacher as a nice underdog in this fight. Garcia looked pretty low level against Grushmacher, so the fact that Haqparast struggled against Garcia at times when Garcia stepped up on 3-4 days notice, not a good sign. Not a good sign. Also, just quickly want to check that these guys have been training. Yeah, these guys have been training their regular places. So obviously Dan Hooker trained at City Kickboxing for this fight, but his training has been disrupted quite a lot by COVID protocols. I know that Izzy spoke about that this week. So Izzy dropped a breakdown video. So if you watch this video here, where is it? Israel Adesanya does like a UFC 266 breakdown video. If you watch this video, Izzy basically talks about how their gym was closed down during COVID. So because of people basically reporting them to the authorities, they were forced to close. So that's obviously going to have some level of disruption on Dan Hooker's ability to prepare for this fight. As for Haqparast, we know that he was in California training for this one. We know he was in California. I'm assuming he was at King's MMA. That's where he's trained at. Or I've seen him training there recently, where we've had those funny pictures with him and Kelvin Gastelum. But there's not tons of recent training information. There he is with Faraz Sahabi and Khabib. So yeah, I'm not too sure. Not a lot of training information on Haqparast's profile, but we do know that he was, we do know that he was training there. Ah, what have we got, man? Jesus, mate. $990 for a BGS 8. That is a lot, man. Oh, mate, I'll make a note of this. Cheers, Hasbulla, mate. I'll watch that later on. I'll watch it while I'm having food later, mate, and enrage myself. Nice one, Hasbulla, mate. Cheers, dude. Hasbulla saying, I know you won't be able to watch it, but the title is why I believe Kevin Holland has the highest ceiling of any contender. Jesus Christ, he's got to be trolling with that, surely. Gotta be trolling, I would imagine. Especially because there's a little guy called Kimeyev that may dabble at 185. You know, he may have a little dabble, especially with the welterweight division being a lot deeper in terms of talent in the welterweight division. Alright, boys, let's get it going. Sync up Haqparast Garcia for me. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, boys, let's go. Let's go. These streams are like therapy, boys, because ever since watching that video where they talk about Jude Bellingham this morning, I've been triggered. So now I've got off my chest. I feel a lot better. Basically, saying that saying that you're not that high on Jude Bellingham is like the MMA equivalent of saying that. No, okay, let me rephrase that. So saying that you're not that high on Jude Bellingham because he's not a big name like Haaland is the equivalent of saying you're not that high on Adrian Yanez because, you know, he hasn't got as big a name as Max Holloway, or saying you're not that high on, you know, Khamzat Chimaev because he hasn't got as big a name as Conor McGregor. Like, that's basically what you're saying. You're saying, irrespective of his skill set and the fact that, you know, it's probably the best 18-year-old midfielder I've ever seen in my life, I don't like him because he's not that popular yet. It's like, mate, he's 18. How is he going to be popular? His career is literally being at the highest level, like 1 year old. You know? Come on, man. Jesus Christ. Crazy. Yeah. I'm not that big of a fan of Adrian Yanez. I don't think he's going to have a big career because he hasn't got as big a name as fucking Jose Aldo. Oh, makes sense. Good logic, my friend. That makes a lot of sense. Brilliant. Yep. I can understand that. Makes perfect sense. Jesus Christ. So, Haqparast here, southpaw stance. 2 minutes in. Now, what is very interesting about Haqparast's style is it's obviously a pure boxing-based style. You know, Haqparast likes to stand in front of his opponents and use his boxing to chip away at him. That's pretty interesting because as we're seeing from Haqparast now, he is standing pretty heavy on that lead leg and he is standing, you know, pretty flat-footed right in front of Garcia. We know that one of Hooker's biggest and best weapons is his leg kicks. You know, after getting his legs annihilated by Edson Barboza, you know, he went back to the drawing board, you know, learned those techniques that caused him so much trouble against Barboza, and then started to implement leg kicks into his own set of skills. So with how heavy Haqparast is standing on that lead leg, I think that's probably going to be a pretty big weapon we're going to see Hooker attack Haqparast with. And I'm pretty sure Hooker's an orthodox stance. Well, actually, Hooker does switch stances. I think Hooker's like a switch stance fighter, but his actual base, I think, is orthodox. Let me just fact check that. Ah, yeah, it does say switch stance. Okay, that's quite significant because with Nasrat Haqparast being a fighter in the fights out of the southpaw stance, Hooker can throw those leg kicks from the orthodox stance in that open striking stance, orthodox to southpaw, and hammer that inside leg. You know, he can really generate a lot of power with his power right kicks and inflict big damage on that inside leg of Haqparast. So that's already like a pretty big weapon I'm seeing from Hooker that he could use here. Because even when, you know, what we're seeing here is when Garcia is kind of coming forward and attacking Haqparast here, like that lead leg of Haqparast is still flat-footed and planted to the ground, even as Garcia is coming forward. So, you know, Hooker's one of these guys that I don't think Hooker does a great job of using his length with his boxing, but he does do a good job of using his length with his kicks. And Hooker's probably going to be able to chip away at those legs from quite a safe distance. So, yeah, like you kind of like it's kind of strange. The lead leg of Haqparast is kind of in a strange position. He's quite late to pull it away when he's backing up, and when he's attacking, you know, he's practically touching the left foot, the lead foot of Garcia. They keep running into each other in that awkward southpaw orthodox dynamic. So, yes. That's one big weapon the Hooker's definitely got on his side here. Alright, boys, let's get this next one going. Let's go. Round 2. Let's go, let's go. One thing that I would also say about Haqparast is he has fought a couple of pretty low-level opponents in his last fight and has gone the distance with both of them. And from memory, he didn't have either guy in like major trouble. He did outstrike him by a wide margin, but if you look at Haqparast wins, so all right, and you could throw the, I guess you could throw the held fight in as well. He did knock Joaquim Silva out, but then 3, 4, 5. So 5 of his last 7 have gone the distance. So I know Ghoul had concerns about, you know, Hooker's durability and stuff, but Hooker's very difficult to finish. He's had 30 pro fights, knocked out by Chandler, stopped with volume against Barboza, but before that has only been submitted 1 time. So Hooker's only been knocked out twice in 30 pro fights. And Haqparast, at least on paper, doesn't look too dangerous. He's gone the distance in 5 of his 7 fights in the UFC. So maybe there's not as big of a risk here to Hooker as we may have initially thought. So let's get this second round going. Sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, Hugo, mate? Hugo Boss is saying Dan Hooker's easy money. You know this, brother. Alhamdulillah. You can't talk like that if you're betting against Haqparast, mate. You can't. That's a... Oh, he's talking like Himaev or Khabib. I won't repeat that. But yeah, Hugo Boss is betting Hooker here. I do think that these leg kicks are likely to cause Haqparast some big trouble. Spectre Fitness saying, isn't there value out in Nasrat? The fight is essentially a coin flip, and getting plus money on a flip is always great EV. Could be, dude. But we have to see by the time we finish watching this footage. Patrick Rogers is saying Garcia is utilizing 0 leg kicks. I think Hooker will be all over that. Yeah, I agree, dude. And Dylan Ellis is saying, I train with Garcia. He isn't committed to his training. I see him about 2 times a week. Oh, Jesus. Suppose that would explain his performance against Grushmacher, right? What is also what I am also noticing here is that, remember in the Chandler fight, Hooker wasn't interested in standing right in front of Chandler. As Chandler was coming forward, Hooker just wanted to circle away from Chandler. He wasn't interested in engaging. He was just trying to pick him off at distance. What is interesting to me about Haqparast's style here is he does seem to want to fight you in a phone booth. Like, both these guys are stood right in front of each other, and it looks like Haqparast wants to stay behind that high boxing guard, you know, and try to use his boxing against you, as opposed to, you know, Hooker's style, where, based on that Chandler fight at least, he's probably not going to play this game. Which means Haqparast is probably going to have to go after Hooker, take the fight to him. And pressure him a little bit, because it doesn't look like Hooker's probably going to want to get into this type of fight with Haqparast. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the good thing about researching this fight is that Dustin Poirier's obviously got a very boxing based style of striking as well, and he's a southpaw, so obviously Poirier is a much better fighter than Haqparast at this stage in their careers. But Haqparast is a southpaw with a boxing heavy style. Poirier is a southpaw with a boxing heavy style. So when we watch the Hooker Poirier fight, it's kind of like the perfect kind of style. It's kind of like the perfect style, right, to figure out how Hooker may deal with Haqparast. Like, we couldn't ask for much better, really. Yeah, look at the range in which Haqparast wants to fight in. Yeah, me too, Matern, man. Like, thinking about it, I don't see Hooker playing this game with Haqparast. where he kind of wants to stand in a phone booth and mix it up. And I'm really looking forward to going and watching that Poirier fight now. To see how Hooker dealt with the boxing of Poirier, because from memory, I think Hooker performed well in the first half of that Poirier fight. From memory, Hooker won the first 2 rounds, I think. And it was only when he kind of adrenaline dumped trying to finish Poirier at the end of round 2 that then he slowed down big time in the 3rd, 4th and 5th, and Poirier was able to kind of bully him by being the fresher man. Like, we're seeing the odd few kicks here from Nasrat, but what I'm also seeing from Nasrat is he's definitely a volume striker, right? He's kind of just touching Garcia. Doesn't seem to have too much power in his hands. Like, I'm a big fan of Nasrat. I think he's brilliant, but if he's going to rely on Hooker standing right in front of him and getting into a boxing match, I'm not sure if Hooker's going to play that game. Yeah, I agree with you, JB. I agree with you, JB, man. I agree with you, dude. JB just saying that Haqparast doesn't use enough of his weapons and Hooker's probably going to figure him out quite quickly. Alright, boys, let's get this 3rd round going. So round 3 starts at 14 minutes and 3 seconds on Fight Pass. Sync it up for me. That's 14 minutes and 3 seconds. Hugo Boss said, am I delusional? But I think Hooker beats Chandler 7 out of 10 times. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I agree with you. I think that the Hooker Chandler fight is just a classic example of a flash KO, right? How many fights of Chandler's have we seen where he gets rocked, dropped, wobbled, knocked out, and if he doesn't get finished in round 1, he always slows down into the 2nd and 3rd round and becomes a lot less dangerous. I think if Hooker just could have made it through that 1st round, he wins that fight more often than not, man. Hugo Boss saying that Hooker almost beat Poirier. Yep, I agree with you, dude. Carnage is saying Hooker wasn't able to train properly because of COVID restrictions. It's true. Yeah, we mentioned it earlier on in the stream, mate. There's so many risk factors here. So many risk factors, man. Yeah, we did mention the gym closures earlier on. Carnage is saying it's something useful to know coming into this fight. Okay, so Carnage lives in New Zealand, and he said that the city kickboxing gym was repeatedly shut down because of COVID restrictions, which has prevented Hooker from training fully. Yeah, I know Izzy spoke about it, right? On his breakdown video this week. Yeah, thanks for reminding us, Carnage, mate. Thanks a lot, dude. I definitely adds another layer of risk to betting Hooker. So I think the point that Carnage is trying to make, Ghoul, is that Haqparast's I think died a couple of weeks ago, whereas it might have been difficult for Hooker to train, like, throughout the entirety of the camp leading into this matchup. Matern's saying that he feels the X factors between these two are kind of even. Yeah, it's true, dude. It is true. I will say one other thing with Haqparast. One thing that I've noticed about Haqparast is that he does fight angry, which for me is a huge risk factor with him. So in the Dober fight, Dober was like, I know that the fight ended very quick, so it's kind of like, I'm maybe reading a little bit too much into what I'm about to say because the fight didn't actually last that long. But if you go back and watch it, you can see that Dober's kind of getting the better of Haqparast in the exchanges. Now, Haqparast is pretty good defensively. Like, I think he does a really good job of staying behind that high boxing guard and, chipping away at his opponents, not putting himself in too much danger. But you can see that Haqparast does pride himself on being a very good boxer. And in the Dober fight, very early on, both guys exchanged. and Dober kind of got the better of Haqparast in the exchanges. And then in the exchange that led to Dober getting, in the exchange that led to Haqparast getting knocked out, Haqparast just looked frustrated that Dober was getting the better of him, so he kind of just bit down on his mouthpiece and just got into, you know, a big exchange with Dober where it was quite a reckless exchange, and he ended up getting knocked out. And then when he fought Alex Munoz, which we'll see, we'll probably watch that fight in this session. When he fought Alex Munoz, he fought angry like the whole fight. You could see he was really hunting for a finish in that matchup. So, you know, with the death of his mother, with Hooker being very dangerous, you know, I'm not sure if fighting angry would be smart here. John is saying, is there a fight where Haqparast deals with leg kicks? Munoz, no. There's not. There's not really, I don't think, mate. There's not, unfortunately. I mean, judging by the way he stands, judging by his stance, I can't see Haqparast dealing particularly well with leg kicks, mate. I know it's a bit of an assumption, but he stands so flat on that, flat and heavy on that lead leg. I'd imagine the leg kicks are going to cause him big trouble. JB saying that Masvidal Edwards is confirmed. Do you know what? I think before Leon fought Diaz, I think Masvidal was kind of ducking Edwards because of how great Edwards has looked. I think Masvidal felt it was a very difficult stylistic matchup. But after how well Diaz started to do against Edwards, when Diaz started to let his hands go, I think Masvidal's probably fancying his chances against Edwards now, right? And that's why that fight's happening. John P is saying, I think it's going to be a massive factor. Hooker demolished Burns, who himself has great leg kicks. Yeah, I agree, mate. 100%. It's a good point, man. Hooker's leg kicks are vicious, man. It's a great point. It is a great point. So, let's get into this third round. Sync it up. Garcia, Haqparast, round 3. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, boys. Let's go. I'm going to try and get this stream wrapped up so I can watch the second half of QPR West Brom while I have some food. And then later on tonight, boys, later on, after the West Brom QPR game, we've got a box break later on. We are going to be opening up a box of UFC Select. I think there's still some packs available. So we're going to... The plan for the rest of the night is... after this stream, I'm going to go grab some food, live bet the second half of the QPR West Brom game. Then we're going to do this UFC Select box break. Hopefully pull some amazing cards. Big shout out to everyone that's bought a pack tonight. Lost My Pants, JB, Ginkgo. Can't remember the names of everyone else, but Horty. Big shout out to you guys for buying some packs. Really appreciate it. And yeah, once we're done with this box break, still some packs available if you want to get involved tonight. After we're done with this, literally as soon as we're done opening this box of cards, we'll come back and we'll live stream research for the final fight we've got to do, which is Marlon Moraes and Merab Dvalishvili. So we got a busy night, but we have got a fun night. There's some cool stuff coming up. Looking forward to cracking open some cards. I love UFC Select. I think the cards look brilliant. So looking forward to seeing what we get later. And then that Dvalishvili versus Moraes fight should be a good one to dive into. And hopefully we can make a little bit of cash on the QPR versus West Brom game as well. Like I said, I've had an absolute monster month this month. I'm up about £12,500 this month, which I think is like 17,000 US dollars, and most of that profit is betting, well, live betting football. So it's been a fucking monster month. I can literally count how many losing football bets I've had on one hand this month, and we've been really busy with it. So yeah, it's just been an amazing month, man. So hopefully we can have another win later on. And tomorrow, boys, as well, for everyone listening, if you're a member of my website, I'm just going to go, like, tomorrow's such an amazing day of sport that I'm just going to go huge tomorrow, boys. So if you're a member of my website, tomorrow night, chill out in the VIP chat room all day. 12:30 lunchtime, we're going to be live betting Chelsea Man City. 3 p.m, we're going to be live betting Blackburn Rovers Cardiff City. The biggest football game of the weekend. If you don't fucking think, if you're not more excited for Blackburn Rovers Cardiff City than you are for Chelsea Man City, there's something wrong with you, boys. There's something wrong with you. Cardiff City tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. We're going to be live betting that. And my record for live betting Cardiff City games is fucking insane. I'm 10-1 live betting Cardiff games this season. So yeah, jump in the VIP chat room. I'll share any live bets I've got in there for all these games. So 12:30 Chelsea Man City, 3 p.m. Cardiff Blackburn, 5:30 p.m. I think is Brentford Liverpool, which I'm not that enthused about, if I'm honest. So maybe there's a game on in Serie A or La Liga which we can focus on instead. I don't like La Liga. I think it's a shit league. I don't like Spanish football. 5 o'clock, Inter Atalanta. I probably prefer to live bet that than Brentford Liverpool, if I'm honest. Yeah, so 5 o'clock we'll probably do... maybe we'll do Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Borussia Dortmund. I hear there's this really shit guy in midfield for Dortmund that no one cares about called Jude Bellingham. So maybe we'll watch Borussia Mönchengladbach and Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, I don't think Brentford Liverpool's going to be that great for live betting. So we'll probably do Mönchengladbach Dortmund instead. Or Atalanta Inter. And then 8 p.m. we've got Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, and I'll show you pronounce it. But yeah, 8 p.m. between 8 p.m. 10 p.m. we got the boxing, so I'll be live betting that, and then obviously live betting the UFC. So I'm gonna do a fucking marathon tomorrow, boys. I'm gonna do a marathon, man. So starting 12:30 tomorrow, we're going to be going all the way through. So if you remember my site, chill out in the VIP chat room. Any live bets, I'll be posting them in there. And hopefully we can have a big day, man. I think we can. We had a pretty good month live betting, and tomorrow could be a big day for us. So, Garcia stood right in front of Haqparast there for 15 minutes. Stepping up on 3-4 days notice, was never really in any trouble. Looking very comfortable. So now let's go take a look at Hooker versus... Poirier. To see how he deals with a southpaw boxer. So sync this one up for me, boys. Let's get it going. Sync it up. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Sync it up. Of course, these two guys are in the even money odds range, so gotta find an even money bet on this one at the very least. I'm starting to bet quite big on even money bets. Currently betting about £1,000 on even money bets, which is around $1,350. So, I'm going pretty big on these even money bets these days. I'm taking them dead seriously. They're doing alright in September as well, to be fair. I think they're down a little bit, but obviously we can end in profit tomorrow. So these even money bets performing really well. And hopefully they'll perform well again tomorrow. With dodgy ones like Diaz Lawler, though, it does help to get fights like Hooker Haqparast, where we can maybe feel a little bit more confident on one of these sides. So let's get this going, boys. Poirier Hooker. I'm looking forward to seeing how Hooker looks here. Let's get this going. Let's go, let's go. So this starts at 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Sync it up, guys. 3 minutes and 9 seconds. It's going good, Hasbulla, right, dude? It's going good, mate. Going good, man. I'm going to name my first helicopter Denise. Alright, boys. Let's get it going. Sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go. We'll have a cheeky little look at the QPR West Brom starting lineups in a minute as well. We'll have a little look in a minute. Alright, here we go. Hooker just looks absolutely huge, man. Like, this is why I'm interested to see the stare downs later on. Or the ceremonial weigh-ins, because Haqparast is only listed as being 5'10". Hooker's only listed being 6 foot tall, which isn't a massive difference. When you look at both guys in the octagon, Hooker just looks so much bigger. You can see Hooker just mixing things up nicely with those leg kicks. So I'm just interested to see how Hooker reacts when Poirier kind of comes forward to attack him. Because against Chandler, you could see that he wasn't interested in exchanging. He was just circling away. We know that Haqparast likes to fight in that really close distance. So I'm interested if Hooker, or what Hooker does when Poirier tries to come forward and attack Hooker. Of course, like the big problem with Hooker is he fights with his hands low and relies on his ability to read his opponents to get out of the way when they come forward and attack him. But in the case of like the Chandler fight, obviously that didn't work because he didn't see the left hand coming. So that is the issue with Hooker, but he has only been finished twice in 30 pro fights. And you can see already, we're like 2 minutes in and he's already hammered that inside leg of Poirier about 5 times. You're already starting to see that leg of Poirier buckle, and because of that, we're seeing Hooker's boxing start to open up. You see, look how he's starting to sweep that leg out from underneath Poirier now. And that's the problem, right? Look at how much more success Hooker's having with his boxing now. In the first minute or two, Hooker wasn't really having much success with his boxing because Poirier's the superior boxer. But now the Hooker's starting to hammer that inside leg, starting to open up his boxing because now Poirier's preoccupied with having to deal with those leg kicks. So it goes back to what JB said earlier on, man. Like, Haqparast has got a very linear set of skills with his boxing, whereas Hooker's got a much more diverse range of striking. You know, he may not be as good of a boxer as Haqparast, but because he mixes things up a lot more, it just gives him so many more options. And you can see in many ways the styles of Poirier and Haqparast are kind of similar, right? QPR scored in under a minute. Very interesting. Well, we got to keep our eye on both teams to score there for sure, man. Keep our eye on both teams to score. Oh, Bayern Munich are up 2-0 already. How are Bruges doing? The Bruges game kicked off yet? 0-0. I just want to quickly check the odds on both teams to score, because West Brom have got a lot of goals in them and they're the home team, which means the onus is kind of on them now to score and get back in the game. Just want to quickly check the odds on both teams to score. I bet it's not very good, but just want to check just in case, because that might be a bit of a gift. Ah, shit, yeah, 1.10. We'll let that one grow a little bit. What's double chance West Brom? Just interesting, the odds. Obviously, can't do a lot until I watch the game, but It's not going to be easy to beat West Brom at home. Double chance. Wait. So West Brom to win or draw is 1.50. That is interesting to me. We need to get this game. We need to get this fight wrapped up so we can go live bet that game. All right, boys. Let's get into round 2. So far, I'm like 90% sure I'm going to be leaning Hooker here. Let's get it going in 5, 4, or sync up round 2 for me, boys. It starts at 9 minutes 23. 9 minutes 23. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, very, very impressed by Hooker here in the first round. As soon as he started hammering the inside leg of Poirier, it opened his boxing up, and I just think he's a much more complete fighter than Haqparast. So it's a much more diverse range of strikes. Look how he's spamming that inside leg and going to the jab. So Hooker, definitely my lean at the moment. And you can see Poirier now is trying to come forward and crowd Hooker to take those leg kicks away from him. By pressuring him, he's not giving Hooker the time and space he needs to get those leg kicks off. And you can see the Hooker's boxing defense isn't great when pressured. So far, we haven't seen pressure from Haqparast, although I do think he used a decent amount of pressure fighting against Alex Munoz, which we will check out. But you can see he's causing Poirier big trouble with his leg kicks. Jesus Christ, Poirier swinging for the fences. But you can definitely see, right, Hooker is there to be hit. Fights with his hands down low. Hooker relies on his chin a lot, which I don't like. Like, even there, like, he stood right in front of Poirier. And it's a huge right hook and a huge left hook. And it goes back to what Gore said earlier on at the beginning of the live stream, right? Hooker's taken... Oh, I think John P said it as well. John P and Gore have both said, you know, one of the problems with Hooker is how much damage he takes. And you're right. I think the problem with Hooker is his chin is so good. He's only been finished twice in 30 pro fights that he just relies on his chin way too much. And you can really see it there. Stood flat-footed in front of Poirier. Getting into crazy reckless exchanges. Looking to take Poirier out. And putting himself in a lot of danger in the process. It's not good, right, Burp King? Like, you're right. I think every single leg kick the Hooker's thrown has landed clean and hard. It's crazy. It's crazy. He keeps hammering that inside leg. There he goes to it again. So Hooker's boxing defense is definitely not good. Like, there's no way to get away from that. But I feel like a lot of it is brought on by Hooker. You know, when he's focused on chipping away at his opponents and fighting at distance, he's not that bad defensively. It's when he tries to start fighting guys in a phone booth and getting into these exchanges playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots that he becomes really easy to hit. So it's one of those things where hopefully after all the damage he's taken here against Poirier and after the knockout against Chandler, maybe he'll fight a little bit smarter against Haqparast. But it is going to be dangerous for him if he just wants to just stand in front of Haqparast and wing bombs like we're seeing from him now. You know, for the most part, Poirier didn't get near Hooker in round 1. And now the Hooker is choosing to stand in front of Poirier and exchange more instead of trying to circle away and fight at distance. You know, we're seeing Hooker take big damage here now. And we did see a bit of a difference from him in the Chandler fight, right? Where he was kind of circling away from Chandler. So maybe he has learned from this Poirier fight. You know, maybe he's looked at what Poirier's gone on to achieve since this fight and taken inspiration and motivation for that. I reckon, I remember that Hooker retired after this fight against Poirier. which is another red flag that we haven't mentioned. You know, whenever a fighter mentions the retirement word, their career usually nosedives. So that is a big red flag actually for Hooker. The fact that he spoke about well, he actually did retire after this fight, but maybe, you know, when he's seen Poirier go on, you know, to now put himself in a position to fight for the title against Charles Oliveira, maybe he's thought, you know what, I came really close to beating Poirier. That could be me. Maybe he's taken inspiration from that. I haven't heard that conspiracy, Hasbulla, mate. I can't imagine that USADA or the UFC would risk their integrity by doing something like that, though. You know what I mean? It's always a crazy thing where, you know, when people come up with these conspiracies, I just don't think people always consider, like, the risk to reward ratio. So, like, would the UFC really risk their integrity and reputation for one fighter? Like, as big of a star as John Jones is, I just don't see the UFC taking that gamble. It's not worth their time. You know, you've got to be honest in life. You've got to be honest in business. And, you know, to try and deceive UFC fans, you know, on that level and kind of cheat other UFC fighters on that level, I just don't think the UFC would play that game. What would they get out of it? You know, if they were to be caught, it would be a giant scandal. It would damage their brand, damage their reputation, damage their credibility so much. It's just not worth it. You know, so things like that, I don't really pay much attention to them. All right. Let's get into this third round now, boys. Poirier versus Hooker. Sync it up. Get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's take a look at the stats in the QPR West Brom game as well. Not a lot is happening by the look of it. West Brom with a lot of the ball, which you'd expect with them being the home team, but not many attempts on goal. So hopefully they carry on playing nice until we get a chance to live better. Might be a red card special there. Vazaland Beveren, the man sent off. How are Porto getting on? Porto are away to someone. Oh, Porto starts at 9:15 again. Away to Gil Vicente. Where's the Jupiler League? There we go. We can bring them up the top now, just to kind of keep an eye on the top teams. There we go. So this was the round where we really started to see Hooker slow down a lot after committing so much energy to go for the finish at the end of that second round. You're starting to see Hooker look very flat now. Arms are looking heavy. Boxing defense has gone out the window. He's become very hittable. And I do think Hooker showed a big lack of experience in that fight, you know, or in this fight. Early on, he was doing such a great job at chipping away at Dustin from behind the jab, behind the leg kicks. And then as soon as he started to have a little bit of success with the jab and the leg kicks, he kind of got carried away and started headhunting. It was almost like Makhmud Muradov's performance against Gerald Meerschaert, where Muradov did amazing early. He was outclassing Meerschaert. He dropped Meerschaert 3 or 4 times. And then as soon as he started doing well, he just started headhunting. He got carried away. And I think we're kind of seeing the same thing from Hooker here. You know, he went from being really technical, you know, and chipping away at Hooker and kind of outclassing him in many ways with that leg kick and from behind the jab, where Poirier couldn't get near him, to, you know, playing Poirier's game, just playing rock'em sock'em robot, stood right in front of Poirier, exchanging big shots. Is crazy. Crazy. So what we'll do after this, boys, I do feel that this fight has given us a pretty good picture of what to expect from Hooker, especially because Poirier's style of fighting is so similar to Nasrat's. So what we'll do after this, we'll go watch Haqparast against Munoz. And I think we'll probably be done on this one. I just kind of want to see Haqparast's style of striking against a different opponent. We can kind of see if he had the same sort of strengths and weaknesses he's shown us in the Rafa Garcia fight. And then we'll make our mind up on this one. Like, I do think it's very risky to bet either guy with all the challenges they've got coming into this fight. You know, Haqparast mum dying, disruptions to Hooker's training camp. You've got, both guys having to fly out to Vegas, both long flights. God knows how far it is from New Zealand to Vegas, but that's a long flight. Germany to Vegas, like 8 to 10 hours. Then they've had to cut weight, from like Thursday afternoon, Thursday night into Friday morning, cut weight in less than 24 hours, then fight in another 24 hours. It's a lot. It's a lot of risk. I wish I was live betting this game, man. West Brom double chance with them being the home team. Do you know what I might actually do? I might just bet double chance, then I can hedge out of it if I don't like it. Just thinking. Double chance West Brom. I can just cash out if I don't like it later on. Obviously, if QPR score and go 2-0 up, then I lose the bet. But the thing is, West Brom at home, the onus is kind of on West Brom to get something from this game. They're undefeated in the league. What I'm going to do, I'm going to gamble a little bit here. Without watching the game, it's not going to be easy for QPR to win away at West Brom. What I'm going to do is live bet double chance West Brom, because I do think the odds are very generous. If I don't like it when I start watching the match, I can cash out. And if QPR score again, it goes 2-0, I'll just have to take an L on it, and that's why they call it gambling. But double chance West Brom at home. I mean, put it this way, if I could have bet double chance before the game, I would have taken that. So I'm going to go in double chance here. Just looking at the fact they've got home advantage. They're undefeated in the league so far. They're the home team, which means the crowd's going to be behind them. The onus is going to be on them to score and get something out of this game. And to be honest with you, a point is a pretty good result for QPR. If QPR get a point away from home, against a top team in the Championship like West Brom, it's a pretty good result. So they're more likely to settle. They're more likely to kind of settle for a draw as well if West Brom really turn it on in the second half. So I'm just going to bet a little bit on West Brom. So I'm in on 2 sites now. I'm just going to bet it on a 3rd site. I'm not going to be able to bet it on all accounts I've got at the moment, so I don't want to go grabbing laptops and stuff out of the other room. But yeah, I'm going to take a little stab. Double chance West Brom. Just because I think, like I say, the onus is on West Brom being a home team. They're a top team in the Championship. And wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, they're a top team in the Championship. Home advantage is huge in the Championship, and I'd imagine the Hawthorns is absolutely fucking rocking there tonight. So the only way I can find myself in a bad position here is if QPR score again before I get to start watching the game, because I can just cash out if I don't like the bet when I start watching the game. So still 0-0 at Bruges, and we got Porto up later on as well. I think 1.50 is great, JB, because if you take 1.50, what's the odds on that? Like what 67? What's the implied probability on odds of 1.50? Like 1. Sorry, wait a minute. Start again. What's the implied probability on odds of 1.50? It's 67%, right? Yeah, 67%. So with a double chance, if you take West Brom or draw, you're covering like 2 of the 3 outcomes, right? West Brom win, QPR win, or the draw. So like 1.50 is like bang on where the odds should be, you know, with a little 3% margin. But we know West Brom are one of the top teams in the Championship. They're at home, which means they're going to have the crowd behind them. Home advantage is huge in the Championship. The onus is going to be on West Brom to get back in this game. If it's still 1-0 QPR in the second half, the crowd is going to push them on to get a goal. You know, the pressure will probably be on QPR in the second half. With QPR, because they're away from home, a draw against West Brom like isn't a bad result. So if West Brom really pour it on in the second half, QPR might sit back, defend a little bit, and think, you know, if we can just hold on to this win, great. If we can see the goal, end up having to take a point, you know, a draw is not a bad result. You know, West Brom undefeated in the league so far. If you go back to, yeah, undefeated in the league. Their only loss was against Arsenal in the Cup. But in the league, they're undefeated. They've scored in every game apart from the Derby game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they've scored in 7 of their last 8. If you look at QPR this season, so take out the EFL Cup games, they don't count. So they've conceded in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've conceded in 6 of their last 8. West Brom have scored in, how many did we say? Like 5 of their last 7, was it? No, they've scored in no, more than that. More than that. What am I talking about? They scored in way more than that. 2. 1, 2, 3. They scored in 3 of their last 4. How are the stats looking? Yeah, logic tells me, just from knowing the teams, knowing the Championship, that West Brom have got a great chance of getting back in this game. So we'll take the double chance. Hopefully QPR don't score before half-time. If QPR go 2-0 up, we're screwed. But we'll once we're done with this research session, then we'll take a look at it in the second half, see if we still like QPR, see if we still like West Brom. Of course, football is a lot like MMA, especially in the Championship where you're dealing with a lower level of team or a lower level of player. You know, you do get it in football, just like MMA, where fighters don't show up. Like a few weeks ago, right, Darren Till just didn't show up, didn't perform anywhere near what he's capable of. That's common in football as well, but it's a lot more unlikely when it's the home team. So West Brom are playing at home. Teams can definitely underperform, teams can definitely flake out and have a bad night, but it's a lot more unlikely when it's the home team, because it's not like MMA where, you know, guys are like mercenaries. They don't have anyone supporting them, they don't have anyone behind them, they kind of just go into a cage and fight in their underwear. You know, even if West Brom underperform and they're having a bad night, the crowd is going to lift them. You know what I mean? In that second half, if QPR is still winning 1-0, crowd is going to start really getting behind West Brom and giving them a lift. And, you know, if it still stays 1-0 in that final 20 to 30 minutes, you know, West Brom are probably really going to pour it on to try and get back in this game. So, you know, So all good. Anyway, boys, let's get into the Haqparast versus Munoz fight, and then that should take us to half time, and then I'll be able to be more active in live betting that game. Henry Wells is asking, what price are you seeing West Brom double chance at? It's about 1.50, which is minus 200. Alright, so sync this one up for me, boys. No, it's alright, my turn. I don't want to take football betting. I don't want to make football betting too serious or too formal. Like, for me, the reason why I'm doing it is I'm just annoyed at account closures that come from betting on MMA. So, you know, the problem with betting MMA is obviously as soon as you make a few thousand profit, your betting accounts get shut down. So I've had enough of it. I've been doing this for 12 years and it's just fucking, it never gets easier. Like, I've had accounts closed recently and it just still pisses me off just as much as it did the first time it ever happened. You never get used to it. And because I've been doing this for so long, like, because I've been, you know, getting shut down for 12 years now, like, it's getting harder and harder and harder for me to get betting accounts on the really good betting sites to use, just because I'm running out of people. So football betting is kind of, I think, what I might just have to transition into and evolve away from MMA. But, like, the problem with sharing bets on football is that there's always football, like, all the time. Like, tonight we've got Belgian Premier League, Championship, Bundesliga, and Premier League in Portugal. So what I don't want to do is start, like, formally sharing bets with people, because then it'll just get nuts. Like, people will expect me to bet football all the time, which is just not going to be possible because there's always football. Do you know what I mean? Like, every day of the week there's football. Like tonight, you know, look, tonight we've got Argentinian Premier League football. I'm assuming we've got Brazilian Premier League football tonight as well. Oh no, we've got I think we've got I think that's a Brazilian Brazilian tournament. So yeah, I don't want to make it like a formal thing, but my goal is to, I'm not going to say transition away from betting on MMA, but my goal is to become, like, less dependent on betting MMA, because there's so much more money betting on football. Like, I've made £12,500 this month, mostly on football. That's like $17,000 US. If I could do that every month, or, you know, even half that every month, I'd be pretty happy with that. And the thing is, it's hard to do those numbers, you know, live betting MMA, because the account closures, you know what I mean? My account balances on some betting sites I've got at the moment are so much higher than they usually get to, because, you know, sites just don't let you earn those kind of numbers on live betting MMA. So yeah, kind of, in a way, this is like, I'm doing football for me, but I also want to help you guys in sharing all my bets. I just don't want to do it in a formal way, because as soon as I do it in a formal way, it'll mean there's a lot more pressure for me to do it all the time. I'll get questions about it, emails, DMs, are you doing this game tonight, if you're doing that game tomorrow. It'll just increase my workload, and I know I haven't got time to bet football all the time. Like, it's not so bad at the moment because we've had a break in the UFC schedule, so I've managed to keep catch up with UFC. But, you know, over like Christmas, where we've got, you know, Premier League twice a week, Champions League, FA Cup, you know, Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga, Championship, it's just going to get fucking crazy. So I'm just going to keep it casual, I think, man. That makes sense. Yeah, otherwise it's going to get pretty nuts. Alright, boys, let's get it going. Nick, I'm not sure if you're a member of my website, mate, but if you are a member of our website, just hang out in the VIP chat room, man. I've posted, basically, I think I've posted every single football bet I've placed this month in the VIP chat room, apart from 2 bets that I didn't post because I was at a christening, like a family event, so I didn't post them in the VIP chat room because it was out in like a coastal location and the internet connection was really bad, so I even struggled to place the bet on the apps, so I didn't bother sharing those 2, but I've shared It's got to be like 10, 15 bets this month in the VIP chat room. Most of them have won. So even if you don't know how to bet football, man, if you're a member of my site, just casually dip in the VIP chat room. When there's games on, I might be betting them. But tomorrow I'm definitely betting. I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm definitely betting Chelsea Man City. I might not bet that game. I will definitely bet Blackburn Cardiff. I will definitely bet a 5:30 p.m. game. Probably Borussia Mönchengladbach, Borussia Dortmund. Then we've got Anthony Joshua Usyk. Then we've got UFC live betting. So I'll definitely do those games. Probably give Sunday a miss. And boys, we got a banger on Monday night. We've got an absolute banger on Monday night. We've got a great game on Monday night. It is Crystal Palace, Brighton Hove Albion, which is a local derby. So there's going to be a lot of bad blood in this game on Monday night. It's a great game. So next week's great for football because we've got Palace Brighton Monday night, which is an amazing game. Tuesday night, we've got Champions League, but I won't be betting Champions League because Cardiff are home to West Brom. I'll be betting that instead. We've got Cardiff West Brom. Wednesday, we'll be betting Champions League. Thursday, we will be betting Europa League. Friday, we got Stoke City West Brom in the Premier League. And then Saturday, we'll have a full range of games as well. So next week's a banger for football. Loads of football next week. And midweek game for Cardiff, which is always a bonus. So I do really want to watch this second half of the West Brom game to kind of scope them out a little bit before they play Cardiff next Tuesday. So let's get this fight done, and then I can go watch the second half. Let's see what we get. So yeah, Cardiff playing West Brom Tuesday night, so it would be good if I could go watch this game. You also, guys, might want to scout double chance in Bruges Leuven. Oh wow, Bruges have absolutely dominated. So this is the kind of spot where I would take double chance as well. But this is half time, so what are the odds on Bruges double chance? I'm imagining they might not be great. They're probably not great. Let me just check Bruges double chance. There's still 1.80 minus 125 to win straight. So Bruges double chance is 1.26, which is about minus 400. George is saying Palace versus Brighton's got draw written all over it. George is saying, tell you what, Chris, you play the double chance on every team. Newcastle play, you'll earn a few bob. Yeah, not a bad idea there, mate. This is a fight research session, dude. So what we basically do in these fight research sessions is we basically watch the recent footage on both guys, and based on what we see in the footage, we basically come up with which guy's got the better risk to reward ratio based on the odds. So we're just coming towards the end of this research session. At the moment, based on what we've seen, I think most people would probably lean towards Hooker. Let me know in the chat, boys, who you lean towards. If you lean towards Hooker and Haqparast, I'm personally leaning towards Hooker. But we'll watch this last fight now. We'll watch Rafa Garcia against Nasrat Haqparast. Then we'll go and live bet this QPR versus West Brom game. And boys, if you are watching on YouTube and you like these sessions, I do live stream my research for every single UFC fight on Twitch. So there's a link to it in the description below. If you like these research sessions, join me on Twitch. I stream like 3, 4, 5 hours a day where we smash through the fight research. Hey, what's up, Dane? Good to see you, dude. What's up, mate? So yes, boys, let's get into this fight then. So everyone got it ready to go. This is Rafa Garcia. No, it isn't. Sorry. This is Alex Munoz against Nasrat Haqparast. Let's get this wrapped up and then let's go live bet the football. Even though we have kind of already live bet it, but you guys get what I'm saying. Alright, boys, let's get this going. So this starts at 1 minute 28. And we need to get this done because the Club Brugge Leuven game is also getting pretty interesting for live betting as well. Alright, let's get this next one going. Sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, boys. So, Hiltzy's leaning towards Hooker. Matern's leaning towards Hooker as well. JB's leaning towards Hooker, but the retirement talk scares him. Yeah, I agree, dude, for sure. I agree, mate. So yeah, boys, we do have a lean on Hooker. So many X factors on this one, though, right? Disruption to Hooker's training with the COVID restrictions in New Zealand, the long ass flight, having to cut weight 24 hours notice, even though Hooker looked absolutely phenomenal at the weigh-ins. And I know Haqparast has got a lot of issues himself, which we've talked about, but it's tricky. It is tricky, but you know, we came into this session having to find an even money bet, and I feel pretty good about Hooker as an even money bet at the very least. And you know, we perform well on, you know, bets in that odds range. So I think the cool thing about the even money bets this week is, you know, in hindsight, the only even money bet that I really don't like is Lawler. Don't like that at all, just because, you know, in Lawler's last 2 fights, he just hasn't had that will to win. But when I was recording the breakdown video for Uros Medic and Jalen Turner earlier on today, and I kind of went back over everything that we saw in the research session, you know, I actually did start to lean quite a bit towards Jalen Turner when I kind of summarised everything in my head. And so I kind of feel a lot better about that even money bet now. You know, I don't feel great about it because of how dangerous Medic is early and the fact that Turner does get dinged a lot. But I think if Turner can just make it out of that first round, Medic's probably going to slow down a lot. And that becomes a real good fight then for Turner. Especially if Turner can get to his grappling. You know, Medic has looked such low level on the ground that if Turner can get his grappling going, you know, especially early, kind of wear Medic down a little bit, that could pay off for him big time. So what's interesting here is Munoz in that southpaw stance. So this is the close striking stance. We saw Haqparast fight Garcia at the beginning of the stream, but Garcia with an orthodox stance fighter. So that was in the open striking stance. This is the closed striking stance. So a very different challenge here for Haqparast, and of course Munoz does have a base in wrestling. He trained at Alpha Male, so you know, Haqparast is probably not going to be as confident in standing in front of Garcia in that boxing stance, because he's going to be worried about the level change and the threat of the takedown from Munoz. And you can kind of see there as he comes forward, Munoz tries to drive in on the legs, but Haqparast does a brilliant job of reading the takedown entry from Munoz, showing him strong hips and sprawling out of it. Haqparast is moving a lot better here, but you're going to see Munoz have a little bit of success with his striking, because obviously Haqparast just can't focus purely on his boxing like he could against Garcia. He's got to focus on, you know, defending the takedown entries of Munoz, or at least seeing them coming. Oh, nice one, B Forge. Thanks a lot, dude. Really appreciate it, B Forge. Thanks, mate. Cheers, dude. Really appreciate it, mate. Nice one, dude. Thanks a lot, B Forged. Hey, what's up, underrated, mate? Hey, what's up, MMA Locker Room? Good to see you, man. Hey, MMA Locker Room. He's at, hey, he asked his Long Beach in the house. Mate, look, I got the Death Row t-shirt. I wore it just for you. I wore it just for you, MMA Locker Room, dude. I got repping the Death Row t-shirt, mate. Long Beach in the house. Good to see you, MMA Locker Room, mate. What's up, underrated? Good to see you, boys. we're going to be wrapping this live stream up pretty soon, boys, but it's good to see you stopping by, man. Thanks a lot. So, yeah, lean definitely Hooker in this fight. I think that if Hooker fights smart, it's a real good stylistic matchup for him. I think that Nasrat stands so heavy on that lead leg. You know, that southpaw to orthodox stance with Hooker fighting orthodox, Nasrat southpaw. Hooker can hammer that inside leg with the leg kick and inflict a lot of damage with those leg kicks. And I think that'll really open up Hooker's boxing. But what I really worry about with Hooker is that as soon as he starts to get a little bit of success, he's going to make the same mistake he made against Poirier, where he started getting sucked into reckless exchanges and playing rock'em sock'em robots. I think if Hooker just focuses on circling away from Nasrat and fighting at distance, he's probably going to perform really well. But I do think if Hooker gets sucked into a boxing match against Haqparast, he could struggle quite bad. Because Nasrat is pretty good at reading people. He's pretty good defensively. He is a better boxer than Hooker. I think overall Hooker's the more complete striker, but Nasrat is a better boxer than Hooker. Nasrat's like better at that one aspect of striking, whereas the way Hooker mixes it up and throws a much more diverse range of strikes makes him like a more difficult challenge for Nasrat to deal with. Hey, what's up, Maze Chaser? Good to see you, dude. What's up, dude? What's up, man? What's up, Randy? Good to see you, mate. So let's get this second round going now, boys. Munoz versus Haqparast. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, boys? Let's get it going. Let's go, let's go. Here we go. What's the score in a QPR? West Brom still 1-0. Oh, wow. West Brom starting to take control of the game by the look of it. 6 attempts on goal compared to last time we checked. I think it was 3 attempts. So that's good. And hopefully they grow into the game in the second half. I can't wait to watch it. It's real handy the West Brom are on TV tonight and they're playing Cardiff on Tuesday. That's going to really help us to live bet that Cardiff game on Tuesday night. It sucks a little bit that Cardiff are playing Tuesday because I would have loved to watch that PSG Man City game. But with how poor PSG looked against Bruges last week, I'm probably going to be taking a little pre-game stab on Man City. For me, I just think that PSG are a joke. Like, PSG are the footballing equivalent of Bellator. It's where all world-class players go to die. Like, it's just, they're a joke. They're just full of mercenaries. They were awful against, absolutely awful against Club Bruges when I watched them, in the first round of the Champions League. They're an absolute joke. So, PSG are full of world-class players that can hurt you, but their work rate's not there. There's no fire. There's no passion. They just don't seem to give a fuck. And, even though Man City are a bit dodgy at the back, at least they fucking care. At least they put a shift in. At least they graft. And that could be the difference, you know what I mean? Maybe PSG will perform a little bit better at home. Maybe they'll be more up for it with a home crowd behind them. But PSG were a fucking joke against Bruges. They should be ashamed of that performance. So, probably sprinkle a little bit on Man City. I know they're slight favourites. I think the odds are like I checked. I think they're like 2.50, 2.50, something like that. And in terms of live betting football, definitely worth scouting the odds on Club Bruges, Leuven, double chance. At the moment, it's too steep. But as the game progresses, if it stays 1-0 Leuven, and Bruges double chance moves up to about 1.50, that might be a cheeky little bargain bet, that. Because if you look at the stats, Bruges are absolutely fucking battering them. So, and they are dangerous going forward. I mean, they gave fucking PSG hell in week 1 of the Champions League. So 2 minutes left to go in the round. Lean here is definitely Hooker. I haven't really seen anything different from Nasrat that we didn't see from him against Garcia. The only difference, I think, is Nasrat's fighting at a different distance. So against Garcia, because there was no threat of the takedown, because Garcia came in with a purely boxing-based style of fighting, Nasrat was trying to fight Garcia in much tighter proximity, whereas because the threat of the takedown's there for Munoz, you're seeing Haqparast maintain a safer distance between Munoz so that he can see, or has a better chance of seeing, the takedown entries of Munoz when he comes forward. But that's really the only difference that I see here from him. I guess the other difference is we are seeing more of a counter-striking style here from Haqparast. Against Garcia, he was leading the dance, whereas here against Munoz, he's being the aggressor and he's forcing Munoz to fight into an uncomfortable range. But he's kind of doing it in a way where he's coming forward and pressuring Munoz in the hope that Munoz will let his hands go to alleviate the pressure so that he can kind of, use his superior technique to pick Munoz off as he comes forward and attacks. Like, that's a little difference. I mean, literally, as I've said that, curse of the commentator, Haqparast has started to get a lot more aggressive towards the end of this round. He's not counter-striking anymore. Now he's trying to take Munoz's head off. But that's resulted in him, putting himself in a lot of danger, right? He's kind of making the same mistake as we saw Hooker make against Poirier, where, Hooker started to have a lot of success against Poirier and then started headhunting and getting reckless. And we're kind of seeing Nasrat do the same here, where, he's coming forward, winging these big wide hooks and putting himself in a lot of danger. What's up, Feel Bad Media? Good to see you, dude. Oh, thanks a lot for joining us, MMA Locker Room, man. MMA Locker Room, man. Make sure... I didn't realise you signed up to the site, dude. I really appreciate it, mate. But make sure you hang out in the VIP chat room, man. That's where the magic happens, mate. We're always sharing bets in there. JB is a beast. JB hooks us up with solid bets on baseball all the time. NFL, college football, Contender Series. You got Gucci and Moons smash the rugby league all the time. Soppy's in the NFL. We live bet the shit out of football, like, at the moment, pretty much every night, man. So check it out. Get in the VIP chat. More the merrier, Locker Room, mate. Thanks a lot, dude. Alright, boys. Let's get into this third round. What's up, George Brown, mate? What's up, dude? No, I haven't seen that section on SofaScore, mate. Thanks for letting me know. Cheers, dude. So let's sync up round 3, which starts at 14 minutes 56 seconds. Sync it up, boys. 14 minutes 56. See how the stats ended. Half time. Yeah, that's very interesting. So when we remember, we said the onus was on West Brom to kind of take the game to QPR and get back in this game. Oh wow, Bayern Munich have had a player sent off against Greuther Fürth. Who got sent off? Pavard. I mean, they're 2-0 up. They should still have enough to see that game out. But if Fürth score, that's going to be a little bit of a sweat for Munich. If Fürth can score in like the next 20 minutes, that one might get sweaty. I was just saying that when we live bet West Brom, I think West Brom had 3 attempts on goal and QPR had 2 attempts on goal. Since then, looks like West Brom have kind of taken control of the game. So the game's going how we thought it might, based on the stats. But now they need to put the ball in the back of the net. What are the odds on double chance? Oh, it is half time. Let's get this Haqparast fight done, and then we can go focus on live betting that game. So let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And boys, remember, about 2 hours time we got that box break. So in about 2 hours time, we'll be cracking open a box of UFC Select. There's probably still packs available if you want to jump in and buy some cards, which we'll be opening up live on stream later on. So jump on it, boys. Take a look. Jump on it, boys. Jump on it. So we got that coming up in about 2 hours time, and then after that we'll research the Dvalishvili and the Davashvili and well, head has gone. Davashvili and Marlon Moraes fight we'll be doing later on, which is the last fight we've got left to cover. All right, boys. Yeah, what are the odds on? Have the odds improved on Bruges double chance? Not really. Bruges double chance is still 1.25. I'm not interested in that. See if Leuven can hold out. See if Leuven can hold out a bit. So yeah, lean's definitely Hooker here, boys. But a lot of X factors do make it risky to bet this fight. So before we wrap this one up, boys, we'll be wrapping this up when this fight ends. Drop in the live chat who you lean towards based on what we've seen. Let me know what you think. I lean Hooker personally. You know, we were saying Hooker's quite reckless, so's Nasrat, to be fair. I just think Hooker's got a more diverse skill set to cause Nasrat problems. The leg kicks are likely to be an issue for Nasrat. But obviously there's a lot going on with these two guys. Second half's kicked off for Bruges Leuven now. So Randy Garcia is going for Hooker. Ryan Bottinelli saying, how will the emotions of Nasrat's mum affect him? Yeah, it's a good point, mate. We were saying earlier on in the live stream about how Haqparast is one of these fighters that seems to fight emotional and angry. Like when Dober was getting the better of the exchanges early on, he didn't like it, and that's what led to him getting sucked into that reckless exchange that resulted in him being knocked out. And then in the fight after the Dober fight, which was this one against Munoz, he came in with a chip on his shoulder and a point to prove. And I do think he's fought quite recklessly here against Munoz, particularly in that second round, where he's kind of stood flat-footed in front of Munoz, winging those big wide hooks. You know, Haqparast isn't the best defensively. We have seen him get dinged a few times in this fight. So, yeah, you know, who knows how he's going to look Saturday night against Hooker. He's been determined to fight, right? You know, with the personal issues he's had. You know, if he comes out and fights angry against Hooker, it could get himself into a lot of trouble. And he did weigh in today at 155 pounds. He made a point of weighing 155 because there was a lot of talk this week about whether he'd be able to fly out to Vegas late and make weight within 24 hours. And he weighed in at 155 pounds, saying that's championship weight. You know, making a statement that I'm weighing in at championship weight. I do think this is a good fight for Hooker. It's just a shame about all the crazy X factors going against both guys. You know, I think one of the biggest X factors is probably Hooker not being able to train properly. We've heard Izzy talk about it this week in his predictions video. So it's tough. But yeah, that's going to be it for this session, boys. If you're a member on my website, head on over to the VIP chat room. We'll live bet the rest of these football matches. If not, boys, take care. Have a great weekend. Hope you absolutely smash it this weekend. I hope you crush it and make tons of money. We'll be back on Twitch later on to live stream the fight between Davashvili and Marlon Moraes, or live stream the research for the fight between Davashvili and Moraes. And I'll also be doing the box break on stream in a couple of hours time. So thanks a lot, boys. Take care. Love you all. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all very soon.